Olivia. This is my final project for Business 343. Case 1, Legal Counsel. In my role and expertise as a legal counsel, Carol Fern's unpaid maternity leave request violates the collective bargaining agreement. Article 15 of the agreement explicitly states that employees shall be entitled to unpaid leave for medical and family-related matters, with maternity leave specifically listed as one of the qualifying conditions. Case 2, HR Manager. As the HR Manager, my opinion is that Mary Younger did not violate the contract because seniority and qualifications are the only two specifications that are taken into consideration when recruiting for the leadership position. Therefore, the decision of selecting Mary Younger as leader instead of selecting Robert Elder is not a violation of a contract per se. Mary Younger is simply a more suitable candidate for the position. Case 3, Labor Relations Manager. As a labor relations manager, I'm fully aware that Erin McNamara has been verbally reprimanded multiple times in relation to her performance and the violation of company safety rules. The contract also states that a violation is a cause for immediate discharge. Causes for immediate discharge, Section 1 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, clearly lists the following: refusal to comply with plant rules as a cause for immediate discharge. Therefore, Erin McNamara's discharge was justified under the collective bargaining agreement due to her violation of safety rules, her prior disciplinary history, and her neglect of duty. Case 4, Union Grievance Chairperson. As I take on the role of chairperson, I would contend that the business excusal of the worker was an unmistakable infringement of the aggregate haggling understanding, and that the representative ought to be restored back to work with full back pay. This is a reasonable and just result, given the business inability to follow appropriate methods and give the worker fair treatment. Case 5, Legal Counsel. As legal counsel, I would argue that Officer Vincent was fully aware of the department's rules and regulations, which are reasonable and necessary for maintaining both order and discipline. I would also provide evidence from a thorough investigation and witness testimonials that support the claim that Officer Vincent violated specific department policies. Case 6, Director HR. As the Director of Human Resources, Mr. Arnett should not be paid the holiday pay for Labor Day. Saga Foods Services has an agreement in place stating that an employee must work immediately before and immediately after the holiday in order to receive holiday pay. Case 7, Labor Relations Representative. In my role as the Labor Relations Representative for Tiger Oil Mill, I would assert that the termination of Bob White was justifiable based on contract terms. With reference to Article 11 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, which enumerates the grounds for disciplinary actions and dismissals, states that White's actions, which included defying a direct order from his supervisor, using profanity towards his supervisor, and leaving work without completing his assigned tasks, are viewed as instances of insubordination and breaches of company regulations. Case 8, Union Grievance Chairperson. As the chairperson, my opinion is that action taken was not agreed by a mutual party. The organization took an arbitrary action which violates the provision. It states that any difference should be presented before the arbitrator whose decision will be binding. Article 14 strikes arbitrariness in state action, ensuring fairness and equal treatment. Case 9. Arbitrator. As an arbitrator, it is crucial to consider the case both fairly and with logic. A set of rules and guidelines should be followed when a ruling is in preparation. Case 10. Personnel Director. As the Personnel Director, the transfer of Jose Obrador's, in my opinion, did not violate the agreement in any way because language ability had been taken into consideration by the city as a factor in establishing schedules in the last 10 years. Assigning shifts were based not exclusively on seniority but also on language ability. Therefore, Jose's transfer was based on his language ability and the fact that he had seniority to work a different shift. The city violated the collective bargaining agreement. This is now my reference page, and I've listed 6 APA citations and 2 biblical citations. That's the end of my presentation.